with coverage you can count on. This is the Erie News NOWCAST.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for jumping on Facebook Live for this mid-morning check of some of the stories we are following here at Erie News Now. We'll have David Walter jump in with a check of that forecast coming up in just a bit. First, though, we want to begin down in Crawford County, where we're following a developing story on this Wednesday morning. State police have now charged an Erie man with the murder of his wife down in Crawford County. Authorities got called out to a home along Route 618 down in Salisbury Township yesterday afternoon. That's where they say they found the body of a 23-year-old Christina Rule Farnsworth. She was dead from a gunshot wound, according to troopers. Well, this morning, state police have announced the arrest of her 27-year-old husband, Daryl Gillespie. He's been arrested on a charge of murder. Troopers say the couple was having marital problems. They say Gillespie actually drove from his Erie home down to Crawford County and killed Rule Farnsworth. He is being sent to the Crawford County Prison. Count on Erie News Now for continuing coverage of this developing story. Breaking overnight, Erie police investigating a deadly crash involving an SUV and a man on a bicycle. Happened around 8:30 last night in the 4100 block of Peach Street, right in the city, not too far from an Arby's restaurant there, and that's where Erie police say a 40-year-old man was riding a bicycle in the middle turning lane of Peach Street. He slammed head-on into a Ford Explorer. That Ford Explorer's driver was trying to make a left-hand turn. Rescue crews did transport that bicyclist to UPMC Hammett. He was pronounced dead a short time later. Again, Erie police continue their investigation this morning. Well, out in California, Governor Gavin Newsom is going to get to keep his job after winning a fairly rare recall election out in the Golden State. Newsom needed more than 50% of California voters to say no to that recall effort in order to stay in office. And at least for now, about 2/3 of California voters did just that. A lot of folks out in California, though, vote by mail, so it could take some time before all the counting is finished up. Conservative talk show host Larry Elder had led 46 candidates looking to replace Gavin. But again, looks like California's governor will survive that recall vote. Well, the Justice Department's asked a federal judge now to issue a temporary restraining order to block the enforcement of that controversial abortion law recently okayed down in Texas. It would basically ban abortions after 6 weeks of pregnancy. The legal brief comes after the Biden administration filed a suit against Texas last week, saying that law is basically in open defiance of the Constitution. The request could move pretty quickly through the lower courts, ultimately landing at the U.S. Supreme Court potentially. Well, it's been a little over a week now since Pennsylvania's renewed mask mandate for schools kicked in, and now some Republicans in Harrisburg are trying a new tactic to try and get that rule thrown out, and this one does not involve a lawsuit. On Tuesday, the State House Health Committee voted to push forward with an effort to determine if the Health Secretary, Allison Beam, actually broke the law when she issued that universal masking order a few weeks back. Lawsuits have already been filed in court arguing the order should have gone through Pennsylvania's regulatory review process. Now, the committee's chairwoman is Warren County Republican Representative Kathy Rapp. She says legislators have the authority to make laws, not secretaries of agencies. Pennsylvania's Health Secretary Allison Beam said the order was needed to deal with the rising number of COVID cases within kids and to keep those kids in school in person. Well, we are seeing an increase in the number of kids testing positive for COVID here at home as we hit this halfway point of the first month of the new school year. We're now up to 5 high school football games here at home canceled for this coming weekend because of coronavirus issues. The latest on that list, the Eisenhower-Mercer game scheduled for Friday. That one is now called off. It was actually a game that Eisenhower had set up after their originally scheduled game was scrapped for COVID concerns. The new plan now calls for Eisenhower to take on Cochranton this coming Friday, so third time hopefully the charm there. Meantime, the PIAA requiring officials to be fully vaccinated in order to ref any state playoff games. Of course, those are a month or two down the road. You can get a look at the latest information on COVID's impact on the sports schedule here at home by heading to erienewsnow.com. Meantime, up in western New York, Erie County, New York officials have announced some new pandemic rules for sports fans there, specifically Bills and Sabres fans. They say anyone over the age of 12 is going to need to provide proof that they've had at least 1 dose of a COVID vaccine. And they say that policy will be in effect for the Bills' home game set for September 26th. Will stay in place through at least the end of October. Anyone under the age of 12 headed to that Bills game or potentially a Sabres game down the road, they say those folks will need to wear a mask. Well, after a year off because of the pandemic, Erie's Wild Rib Cook-Off and Music Festival is making its delayed return a little bit later on this morning. It's going to be the 30th annual edition of that event. It was actually pushed back from its scheduled start in the spring. The folks who put this one together have 9 different ribbers setting up in Perry Square. Actually, a couple of local cookers are offering up their ribs down at Perry Square this year. We're less than an hour away from this one starting. 11 a.m. is the official launch for the Rib Fest. Then it runs through this coming Saturday. You know, we're 30 blocks away, David, but I can almost smell some of that delicious barbecue cooking.
Yeah, we're about to kick off things in less than an hour right now. We still got some rain showers out there, so we're starting things off wet, but as we proceed through the afternoon, we are getting a bit drier overall, and we've got some really good weather over the next couple of days as we are enjoying some of that barbecue, the ribs, you know, all the good cooking that you can find out there. A lot of good stuff, and it's always hard to determine who's the best. Right now we're watching, again, some more showers right along the lake shore. Could be dealing with some heavy rain here shortly in Erie as these showers continue up the lake shore. But behind this area, not seeing too much. That's the reason why I think our trend is going to be drier as we continue through the afternoon. Futurecast continuing to bring some of those showers on through. You can see even through 12, 1 o'clock. We're hanging on to a little bit of that wet weather, but it's more so, well, inland as we get towards the 5 o'clock hour. And then during the night, just another very isolated shower can't be ruled out. For your Thursday, finding better sunshine, temperatures heating back up. We're looking to get into the upper 70s during the day. Right now, temperatures are in the 60s. We've been a little rain cooled, and we're really not expecting temperatures to go up a whole lot more as we get into the afternoon, but a little bit of sunshine will certainly help that. 72 degrees, very fall-like for today. A few of those showers into the afternoon for areas further away from the lake shore. They could be lingering in places like Warren and Bradford even as we get towards the early evening, but for the most part, I think a lot of that activity will be out of the picture. Weather impact index today, we're at a 1. It will be a wet at times over the next couple of hours, much cooler and certainly drier later in the day. We'll talk that 7-day in just a moment.
All right, thank you, David. Hey, if you're ready to go nuts, sort of, kind of, well, the folks at the nut company known as Planters, they have a new Nutmobile, and this one's open for business. You got to check this out. It's a 26-foot-long peanut on wheels. Right now, it's set up on some waterfront property out in Duluth, Minnesota. And get this, it's only a $3.59 to rent out the Planters Nutmobile. It's, the same price, if that number sounds familiar, as you would typically pay for a jar of those Planters peanuts. But there's only a single booking for a 2-night stay available in this giant peanut. You're going to go to a winner who will also get a $1,500 travel stipend, plenty of peanuts to eat while you're in this baby. You can enter this online contest by going to MrPeanutInANutshell.com. Yeah, some singing, some fun. After a 17-month shutdown of some of Broadway's biggest shows, they made the return to the stage last night. We're talking Hamilton, Wicked, The Lion King, Chicago, all making their return. Broadway's bounce back does come with some noticeable changes. Audience members are being asked to show proof of vaccination and required to wear masks. Get this, also no longer intermission at most Broadway shows or those autograph opportunities for fans. Many of the show times are being condensed, so they run about 90 minutes. But good to see Broadway back, just one of the many things making its return. And we have seen kind of return of summer weather. Certainly we were feeling that summer-like heat yesterday, David.
Yeah, we are heating things back up over the next few days, but today we're down in the 70s thanks to that cold front, but it quickly returns to the 80s as we get towards the end of the week. Just a stray inland shower possible for Friday and Saturday, and as we cruise on to the end of the summer season, temperatures continue to get warmer. We actually begin fall next Wednesday, so 1 week from today, and we're almost in the middle 80s.
Yeah, not a bad way to send out summer. All right, we'll be back on Facebook Live about the same time tomorrow for another edition of the NOWCAST. 30 minutes of news, that's coming your way at noon on WSEE. I'm Mark Soliday. Have a great Wednesday.